to talk about honest, authentic, sustainable, practical self-care. My name is Allie. I am a yoga instructor living in the Midwest. I'm a high school English teacher, a mom, a wife, making videos about slow and mindful living. I feel like self-care in our culture has become something super expensive. It's often equated with our physical appearance. I like to get my nails done. That external self-care, getting my hair done, having a cute outfit, having my nails done, truly didn't fix anything or fulfill me until I started focusing on taking care of my internal landscape and not just my appearance. I used to believe there was not enough time to care for myself. I believed I would feel better, more lovable, whole if I was more productive. Resting, sleeping, napping, meditating, being out in nature, it didn't feel productive because I didn't feel like I was producing anything or checking anything off my to-do list. I would say that I thought about it as a waste of time, or at least I felt drawn to do other things. Even when I was practicing yoga, I often felt like it was a check to do. I went to yoga today. I wasn't really focusing inward and using those tools to care for myself. Everything for me was about success, effort, getting something done. I don't think I'm unique in this. Our society has taught us that our worth is based upon our work, how much we produce, and how much money we make. Although our friends and loved ones would tell us that we are more beyond that, we're more beyond our external successes. Our culture is obsessed with external successes and appearances. Even if people are telling you you're more than that, success being some kind of external thing or worth being tied to external is constantly shown to us. So it becomes our belief. It's been so funny though. I was kind of put in a position where I was forced to slow down. My pregnancy was 2.5 years ago now. My daughter's 2.5, but really just like unearthed all this suppressed stress I had in my body. I started having food sensitivities. I started having intense inflammation like in my physical body. My anxiety was worse than ever that first trimester. My depression got super bad. It was not fun, to say the least. I have learned so many lessons from it, and I am so joyful and so content with my life now that I am thankful for the experience being on the other side. But if I can help people avoid that like I did, I would love to. But that experience taught me it wasn't even like I set out to learn something from it. I just had to slow down. Thankfully for me, I had started a meditation practice. I had a yoga practice. It had been 12 years since I had started practicing yoga, and I had learned transcendental meditation in my early 20s. I picked up transcendental meditation again and started getting really deep into my practice. To be honest, I felt like I didn't have another option. It was a really rough time for me. But when I was forced to slow down, my creativity came back. My sense of self came back. I began to remember who I was. What I want to offer people is the ability to return to themselves, to find this kind of joy and contentment in life. For a lot of us, I feel like it's really hard to grasp, and it was even hard to grasp for me at first, that our external world is not going to shift until our internal world shifts. We in Western society fall under the philosophical framework that we have to have things to be someone to do the thing. So when I have that car, then I will be happy. When I have that promotion, then I will have more money and be happy. In Eastern philosophy, they work under the opposite model. Be do have. This is the way to truly cultivate a joyful, happy, healthy life. No matter how much we have, if we do not feel good about ourselves, if our inner world is full of anxiety and worry, we're not going to be able to enjoy the things we acquire fully. The problem is because our society is so focused on work and production and hustle, a lot of us have not had the opportunity to take the time to turn inward and really get to know who we are and and it wasn't until I was forced into that position of slowing down during my pregnancy that I was able to be with myself. There was a lot I'd been running from, but I was also able to rediscover who I am at my core, what makes me feel good, and what I need to feel cared for, healthy, whole, and joyful. Another misconception is that other people can fill this for us, a friend, a husband, and that's not true. We need to fill this in ourselves. They can add to our life, but someone else is never going to fully make you whole unless you are doing the inner work to become whole yourself. It's not possible. So where yoga philosophy comes into this whole slowing down self-care thing is the yamas and niyamas, which is in yoga the ethical foundation for the practice. For the philosophy, you can kind of think of it as like the 10 commandments. One of my favorite principles is self-study. I love this version of the yamas and niyamas by Deborah Adele. In it, she defines self-study as knowing our true identity as divine and understanding the boxes we are wrapped in. This process of knowing ourselves and the boxes that adorn us create a pathway to freedom. I believe that we cannot provide ourselves with the care that we need unless we turn inward and get to know ourselves. It's about pausing to notice how you show up and what you truly need. Think about it this way. If you are trying to start a vegetable garden and you have the wrong kind of soil or the pH of the soil is wrong, the garden's not going to bloom. In order for us to become the fullest expression of ourselves, to feel whole and happy and to give to the people we love, we have to take care of that. So one caveat is why a lot of self-care type rituals or habits, we have a hard time sticking to them, is because subconsciously we don't believe that they are important, or we believe other things are more important, or we're not deserving of. This points back to our culture. This is what our culture has brought us to believe. Most of what we do is subconscious. Around 95% of our actions are automatic. That's why even when we want to rest, it sometimes feels like actually physically impossible. So if you felt guilty for slowing down, or if it feels impossible to rest, that's your subconscious reacting to old patterns, beliefs that we have through our cultural upbringing about worthiness being tied to productivity. But the great news is we have the power to change this. And if you take anything away from this video, let it be that you always have the power to change your life. I remember being told some health conditions would be with me for the rest of my life, that I was just stuck in these patterns, and I have been able to shift them. Been so amazing, and just like even sometimes hard for me to wrap my head around. Please know you can change your life at any time. So possible. If you have a roof over your head, food on your table, and money in the bank, you are already 10 steps ahead. Don't let yourself rot in victimhood. You have the power to change. One way to reprogram your subconscious beliefs is using askfirmation. Instead of affirming something with a statement, you're asking yourself a question. So how can I create space for rest? How am I worthy even if I slow down? Our brains are primed to solve problems and look for answers. It is wired in our biology because our first goal as humans is to stay alive. The sad thing is, in the 21st century, we are giving ourselves the wrong problems to solve. We're looking for the wrong evidence. Start giving yourself the right problems to solve. Start asking yourself the right questions. Your brain is going to start looking for evidence and answering the right things. Another way that we can reprogram this is just through mindful thought and mindful awareness, noticing how we're thinking. Meditation allows you to build this skill over time. If you're like, I don't know if I can get into subconscious reprogramming or meditation, journaling is a great way to get your thoughts out on paper. I love journaling. I do it with my students all the time. I found it more productive than talk therapy. Maybe that's a little bit taboo, but when I'm in talk therapy, I often feel like someone else's experience is being projected on me. When I'm journaling, I feel like it's just me and myself, and I can examine my own thoughts and belief system without the filter of someone else. So if you want to start making a shift today and start implementing some of the things we've talked about, if this information is exciting and inspiring to you, I'm going to give you 3 practical things you can do today. The first is journaling. You don't need to buy a journal. Grab a piece of printer paper or a scrap, set a timer for 5 minutes, put your phone down, and just write for the entirety of the 5 minutes. See what comes up. Don't sit and stare at the paper. Put the pen to the paper and start writing. The thoughts will start coming and you'll be like, oh snap, I'm seeing everything right there. If starting a whole yoga practice feels intense, start with 5 minutes of gentle movement. This could be neck rolls. It could be releasing your shoulders. It could be going on a 5-minute walk. Anything to release tension. When I notice my body gripping, I have such a pattern of like gripping my shoulders, just telling myself it's safe to relax. And the third tool is a sensory check-in. Grounding yourself in the present moment. I like to do this outside. I have beautiful trees in my backyard and try to see the farthest thing away and then the closest thing. This grounds me in the earth and the present moment. If you want to get real hippie with it, maybe take your shoes off, put your feet in the grass, close your eyes, feel the sun, feel the wind on your face. There is something to the advice that when you are feeling stuck, get some fresh air. It's like actually scientific that this regulates our nervous system. I am working on a workshop that I'm hosting at a local yoga studio, building on another workshop that I hosted 2 or 3 weeks ago. Created a free digital version that I will link in the description box if you want to check that out. That one is called A Soft Return to Self, and this one is A Soft Return to Self-Care. I plan to make it in a digital version too, because why? Because I want to offer it to anyone who doesn't live near me and wants to access it, and also because I want to practice before I do it in person. A Soft Return to Self is about slowing down, more about some yogic philosophy and slow living principles, and then it is also a meditation and yoga practice. Oh, and it's also journaling and affirmation writing, and there's a whole workbook that I made. I think it's pretty dope. Like, I make this stuff because this is the stuff I'm doing. You can check that out in the description box. I don't have the digital one of A Soft Return to Self-Care yet, but subscribe and I will be posting videos and updates about that when it's ready. The last thing I want to say and remind anyone who's watching this is self-care has such a, don't get me wrong, I took a 30-minute shower today. I exfoliated, did my hair, I put retinol on my face. I'm living my best girly life, but self-care it's so much more than that. It doesn't have to be complicated, just micro habits throughout your, and I just want you to remember you are deserving of that. If you're not taking the time for yourself, maybe do some journaling and start to unpack why that is. This is just me to you that we don't have to even deserve this. This is just part of being human and something that is our birthright to take care of ourselves. I would love for you to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. My name is Allie. I am a yoga instructor living in the Midwest, a high school English teacher, a mom, a wife, and I am making videos about slow and mindful living. If you're interested in that, I would love to have you subscribe, and we're soon.